Hello, 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 and welcome to World of Matchups. My name is Dexter Reed, and I am your host today. And every week, moving forward, breaking down the National Football League matchup by matchup from now until Super Bowl Sunday. Coming to you live and direct from the Grab It television studios in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. To my right, I have super producer Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say hello to the people.
What's going on, everybody?
Nice to have you. Me here, you there. Let's get started. First things first, let's talk about what happened last night in the National Football League. The New York Football Giants met the Washington Football Team for what was a thrilling yet very sloppy affair. Taylor Heinicke, the guy who gave Tampa Bay all the work in last year's playoffs, a little erratic, but he did look good and did enough to get them the win last night. This is the type of game where you wonder how the New York Football Giants absolutely lost this game. Making Heinicke look like Joe Montana at times, it was absolutely ridiculous to think that they gave this one away. Daniel Jones, deep to Slayton, look at that drop. How do you drop a pass like that? If he catches that pass, there's no way the Giants don't win this game. I can't think of a more snake-bitten team than the New York Giants in the last 3 or 4 years. Under Joe Judge, it's just been sloppiness after sloppiness. People are calling for Gettleman's head. People are not sure if Daniel Jones was the pick. I think this game was more about the Giants losing than it was about Washington winning. They give them a chip shot field goal to win it. In the end, this is a situation that should have never even taken place. If you ask yourself about this game, it was entertaining for sure, but the end result was sloppy football on Thursday night. I'm not a big lover of these Thursday night games, and the bottom line is we have to look at the ineptness of the Giants and their front office. Throw this picture up here, Spencer. Since this picture was taken 3 or 4 years ago, the Giants have finished 0-2 or started 0-2 every single week since this picture was taken. That's not a coincidence. It's like snake bitten. And Odell left the team. They just haven't been the same. Look, guys, do yourself a favor. No bromance boat trips, okay? This is like something that you definitely don't want to do because it's going to send your franchise into an absolute tailspin. Enough about them. Taylor Heinicke looked like Taylor Heineken throwing a little bad pass that made sure that the Giants should have won that game, and they still gave it away. Unbelievable. Boy, I feel for you, Giant fans, especially being from New York. Let's get right into the breakdown. So, last week, 6-10. 6-10, week 1. My goodness, what a horrible first week I had. All I had to do was pick straight winners. My goodness, that was terrible. This is the part of the show, Spencer, where you like insert like a poop emoji or like a dumpster fire for my pick.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
And I just got to put this out there right now, folks. If you are listening to me and then taking your money to the casino and betting on these games, you're going to be living under a bridge somewhere on like Boulder Station. Like, don't do it. You know what I mean? You definitely don't want to rely on me to pay your bills. Now, if on a serious note, you are struggling with gambling, gamblers.com is something you want to do. Been there, done that. Don't go there. But I digress. Back to this week. Let's start off with breaking it down and see if we can do a little bit better than 6-10, okay? The Broncos at the Jags. Teddy Bridgewater looked good, man. Did you see touchdown Teddy last week? He looked strong. You know, he was out there doing what he needed to do. Now, granted, it was versus the Giants, who are terrible, as we found out again last night. But this is a road win. Denver, I'm telling you, man, Denver is better than a lot of people think they are. They do lose Jerry Jeudy. High ankle sprain, they're saying it's going to be more like 6 weeks. That hurts my heart. I really love Jerry Jeudy. He was my player to break out this year, and now he's going to be on the shelf. But, you know, it is what it is. They do have guys that can pick the ball up and run with it. I like Cortland Sutton. I still like Javonte Williams. Melvin Gordon had a 70-yard run last week. Denver's going to be pretty good in this game. On the flip side, Urban Meyers, Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence throws 3 touchdowns, but he throws 3 picks. Erratic. The lack of Jags D is going to be the difference in this game. I think Denver is going to run all over this team. I'm taking Denver here, and I'm taking them pretty big. I think that there's a lot of black clouds going, around the the Jacksonville area right now. The whole transferring from college to the pros for Urban Meyer, maybe a little bit more than he expected. I think he bit off more than he can chew. And while I do think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good year, he's going to have a lot of picks. It's going to be like Manning's first year. So let's go. Denver. Next. Bills at the Dolphins. Boy, the Bills let me down last week. I am on the Josh Allen bandwagon, but man, that's a game you have to win at home. I'm sorry. Miami's a sleeper defense, and I think they are going to give this team a lot of trouble. And all of a sudden, a team like the Bills, who a lot of people were picking to go far, maybe into like the AFC Championship game, they might be staring down the barrel of a 0-2 gun here. I like Brian Flores, but Josh Allen has to win these kinds of games here if he is going to be taken seriously as a franchise quarterback in the MVP consideration and going into the playoffs pretty deep. And you cannot trust the Bills on the road. I'm taking Miami here. Look out. A lot of people think that the Bills are going to come off that loss and they're going to bounce back, but they are traveling down to sunny Florida, and Miami's a pretty good team. They're the team that no one wants to talk about. No one wants to give them their flowers, but their D is very underrated, and I see them winning this game. Next, the Texans at the Cleveland Browns, the Brownies. So, huge Texans win last week. That's a statement W. Okay, I'm sorry. They look good. They won the game. They did what they were supposed to do. Now, Cleveland to me is still one step away from being the team that I think a lot of people think they can be. They got Baker Mayfield, who's trying to play for a big contract. They got the dog pound behind them. That's going to be a loud, raucous, hungry for a win type statement game, especially after losing last week the way they did. The defensive line of the Browns is fabulous. They're fabulous. Boy, Myles Garrett. You ever see Myles Garrett? I would like to see Myles Garrett in person. He just must look like Adonis. He was wrecking the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line last week, and he's going to do the same thing this week, okay? I just can't see Houston winning 2 in a row. I just can't. I think they get bludgeoned here. The spread is high. I even think they'll cover it. You do me a favor. Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, look me in the eye here. Do yourself a favor and get rid of Odell Beckham. He's always hurt. He doesn't suit this team. He's a finesse, small, quicker player, and he's done nothing for you. The minute this guy gets healthy, get him off the team because you don't need him. Jarvis Landry, they're good. Austin Hooper, good. You got powerful backs. You got power. You're a power-hungry, running, hit you in the mouth, punch you in the mouth team. And I guarantee you, if this team ever gets it together, if Baker ever gets it together, no one's going to want to see them in the playoffs. Take Cleveland. Take them with confidence. There's no way the Texans are winning 2 in a row. Next, Bengals at the Bears.
The Bears.
Huge Bengals win versus Minnesota in OT. Boy, Minnesota's defense is bad. Have you watched the Minnesota defense recently, Spencer?
Oh, in what context? What do you mean?
Last week,
right?
Them just trying to stop anyone to win that game. They come all the way back, and then just let it go. They can't stop anybody.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Joe Burrow. So, I mean, that 3-step drop he had in that touchdown to Jamar Chase, that is special to me.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at that, I think he is one of the best fundamentals in football, period. So,
I'm
glad to see him back. I actually think the Vikings defense is okay. I just think the Bengals are a lot better than people think that they are.
And I concur. I was a little concerned about Burrow coming out because they were kind of hiding him in preseason. He wasn't all the way back. But I think we need to talk about Joe Mixon and how when you have a player like Joe Mixon eat the way he did last week, it takes a lot of pressure off a guy like Burrow, and he can be a little bit more comfortable. People were trashing Chase. That was a coming out party for Jamar Chase. That really was. Jamar Chase is going to be a stud in this league. He's going to make everybody forget all about Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. So watch out for him. However, as far as this game goes versus the Bears, as long as the Bears refuse to start Justin Fields, it's going to be problematic. It's just going to be problematic. You have this guy. Nobody on God's green earth can convince me that Andy Dalton gives them a better chance at winning. I'm sorry. Montgomery, A-Rob, defense, I still think despite Dalton, they will find a way to win their home opener. I am taking the Bears.
I just wanted to quickly say about this game, This is silently the game of the week for me because
Wow.
you got two franchises in completely different places.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals overachieved last week, and the Bears are on the fringe. There might be a playoff team, they might not. They have to win this game, but if the Bengals do win this game against a desperate Bears team, I'm telling you, we got to take a more serious look at the Bengals. Maybe not obviously for a Super Bowl, but in the future, they could be dangerous.
Absolutely. And I will go as far as telling you this. I'm growing my beard right now. If the Bengals win 3 in a row, I will have a Chester the Molester mustache on the next show when that happens, because that I cannot see happening. But I'm riding with you, and I kind of agree with you. They just don't have enough beef, that team on the inside, to stop enough people. But if they end up being the type of team like the year Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns, they had no defense. If Burrow starts doing that, you have to take them seriously. Absolutely, 100% concur. Next. The 49ers at the Eagles. Eagles, huge win last week. Man, I picked against all these guys last week that I thought were going to be terrible, and the Eagles looked like the Super Bowl team. They destroyed Atlanta. Boy, Atlanta's bad. But I smell a trap here. I do smell a trap here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Eagles win this game, but not enough for me to take them. Why? Because defense wins championships, and the San Francisco defense will be the difference maker here. Now, I do think Devonta Smith, Hurts, these guys are going to get theirs. It's home opener in Philadelphia. I mean, these fans, they threw batteries at Santa Claus, or was it snowballs? You know what I mean? Like, they're not standing for a lousy product, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves because that's a huge win. I don't care if it was in Atlanta. That's a W. Now, Jalen Hurts jersey sales go up 500% in a week. I mean, Philadelphia's a proud football city. But, man, something tells me to not do it, so I'm not going to do it. You know, Philly will have to get good tight end production. Zach Ertz is banged up. Dallas Goedert is, I don't know. I think Quan Alexander will be all over him. I like the Niners here. Mostert goes down for the season. Boy, is there a more glass running back in the NFL than Raheem Mostert? And I got to just take a second and say this, okay? Like, football is a game. This is all fun. We're doing this. We're having a good time. But, stop sending death threats to this guy's family. Stop sending hate mail to this guy's family. You're a real D-bag if you're doing stuff like that. If, fantasy football and things like being a fan of that team matters that much to you that you feel like you need to do that and send that stuff out to this guy's family and threatening his wife and stuff, you need to reevaluate your life. Now, I digress. Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell, watch out for him. He's going to be a live get for a lot of people this week. Debo, Kittle, Ayuk will reappear. Boy, where did Brandon Ayuk go last week? All the guys I waxed poetic about did absolutely nothing last week. What are your thoughts about Ayuk?
No, did you hear the whole thing that Trey Sermon and Ayuk didn't play yesterday, but it was a team decision. They were inactive.
That's nuts to me. You know what I mean?
They must have broken curfew.
Something happened.
They came up late. So Trey Sermon and Ayuk are in the doghouse right now. I don't know how long that's going to last. I'm assuming they're going to play, but something happened before that game.
Something happened. You know what I mean? I mean, my sources, I'm a big Roto-World guy. I do a lot of Sirius XM for football, and they're just saying that, Shanahan was saying, well, he's just underdeveloped yet. He needs to be playing. I think his exact words were, Ayuk needs to be playing better than the guy behind him. Now, there's a lot of coach speak to that. That might mean that they were out at the bar. You know what I mean? That could be what that means. But I'm still standing behind my NFC player to watch for the year goal of seeing Brandon Ayuk get 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. And if he reappears, that's going to be a huge edge for the San Francisco 49ers. I like the Eagles here, but I'm still taking the Niners. Next, Saints at Panthers. All right. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, they laid down last week like children taking a beating from mom and dad. It was terrible. It was awful. Don't expect Carolina to do the same thing. Now, Carolina's no world beater. They barely beat the Jets. But they're not going to lay down like that. Now, Jameis Winston, someone apologize to Jameis Winston, please. Somebody buy Jameis Winston all-you-can-eat crab leg dinner, please, because that was fabulous. He should have been player of the week. I know they gave it to Mahomes, or was it? Well, Mahomes got it for the AFC. Do you know who it was for the NFC, Spencer? Can you look into that? I mean, he did this with a lot of no-name receivers too. I mean, there are no Michael Thomases right now in New Orleans. Now, is it Hurricane Ida? These guys always, when the hurricanes come, they're always like, we did it for the city. And I mean, they played fabulous last week, and they destroyed Green Bay. Now, the Saints D will shut down Carolina despite losing Lattimore. Marcus Lattimore just signed a big deal, and then he's hurt. My goodness. Expect CMC to get his. CMC is getting his. I don't care what the game is. I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care where they play. They could be playing in the Grab-It parking lot right now. Christian McCaffrey's eating all year long, all right? But it will not be enough to the tune of a W. DJ Moore can be sneaky because Lattimore's out. There's a lot of underneath to be had for Carolina. I like Sam Darnold. You guys know this. I just don't like him that much this week. The Saints' D-line is slept on, underrated. Cam Jordan is an absolute mammoth, and I see them taking this game. Hurricane Ida, we're looking for you to leave New Orleans alone. Let these people live. Stop with the Hurricanes. I'm taking the Saints. Let's roll.
Matthew Stafford was the NFC Player of the Week, by the way.
As he should be. Stafford. Nice segue there, Spencer. Next game, the Los Angeles Rams, quarterbacked by the NFC Player of the Week, Matthew Stafford. Boy, Matthew Stafford just looked like he was having fun. He just looked like he got freed from Shawshank Prison. He just looked like it was just, this is what I've been waiting my whole life for. This is what I thought it would be when I was in the NFL. That's the look he had on his face. And Goff looked like he just birthed a new child. They were hugging. It was just a bromance on the sidelines. It was fantastic. Now, the Colts. I'm not falling for this banana in the tailpipe trick twice with you bums. All right? I went out on a limb and took you guys, and I'm never doing it again. You'll be lucky to see me do it again this year. Carson Wentz is terrible.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Carson Wentz is the same quarterback he was last year on a different team. He was the worst quarterback in the league last year, and he's going to be the worst quarterback in the league this year. I'm not touching this game. There's no way I'm taking them. Even the skilled players are going to have a hard time. Jonathan Taylor, I'm sorry. I love you. Meet Aaron Donald, okay? That's what it's going to be like. You can forget about me taking them again for a while. Wentz is just a flat-out scrub. He's trying to resurrect his career. I just don't see it happening, okay? And it's sad for the Colts. It really is because there's talent. There's talent on that team. Pascal, Pittman, Taylor, even old man Jack Doyle. These guys are still relevant. They're good. They got great O-line, but you can't – listen, without a head, there is no Voltron, okay? The most important player in your team is a scrub. You're in trouble. And I'm sorry. Wentz has fallen from grace so far. Isn't it crazy from the guy who almost won an MVP? That year they won the Super Bowl. Wentz would have been MVP that year, Spencer.
Think about in another sport, Isaiah Thomas. The guy was talking about backing up the brink trucks, and it just comes and goes. Your career can flash right in front of your eyes.
Right in front of your eyes overnight. You can be the hottest thing, and then you could be gone. Look, the Rams look solid, man. And Stafford is loving life. Kupp, I love Cooper Kupp. Boy, what a man crush I have on Cooper Kupp. I got Stafford and Kupp in fantasy one league, man. I'm going to run that till the wheels fall off. I just love the Great White Hope. He put a move on a guy last week. I think that guy's still in the hospital. It was unbelievable. Woods has slept on. Donald. That trio is better than Pittman, Taylor, and all of Indy's defense. I'm taking the Rams, and I'm taking them with a lot of confidence. Next. Before we talk about the Raiders, and we're going to take a little extra time talking about the Raiders, because let me tell you something. I've been watching football since I was 3 years old. That's 45 years. I have yet to see a game like the game that took place Saturday night. And our own super producer, Spencer the Wiz, was there. Like he said the game almost killed him. So, Spencer, please tell us about that game and what it entailed, and what your thoughts on the Raiders are moving forward before we break this down.
Well, I'm just happy I was there as a fan, because I'm a fan of the Raiders. So if I was in the press box, I don't know how I would have contained myself. I mean, that is the craziest game I've ever seen. How do you go down the field with 37 seconds, no timeouts, and you get into field goal range? I mean, that was some awesome play. I mean, Derek Carr looked like Matt McGloin, Matt Flynn. You can go through all the lineage of horrible Raiders quarterbacks in my lifetimes. They looked like all of them. But, I mean, I think that's why he should play in the preseason, at least like a half of football, because he looks so rusty. Mm-hmm. He still had a few bad passes here and there. He was not perfect. that interception in overtime. That's kind of his fault. Willie Snead maybe has to catch that. But the energy in there was amazing. There weren't that many Ravens fans. That was kind of one of my bigger takeaways from the game. I mean, it was black inside there. The black hole was as black as it gets. Wow. Everybody was excited. It was really fun just to be amongst Raiders fans. And we talked about it before the show. The real awesome thing about Allegiant, I mean, the game ended. I mean, normally it ended, I think, like at 9, but normally that's like a 8:30 finish. And then you can just go to the Strip. It's literally across the street. They planted the stadium in the middle of the Strip. It is an unmatched experience in the NFL. It's so great. And I'm glad they got the win. It's the most Raiders win I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. The Raiders are still going to Raider at times. So when they win, they don't make it easy. You know what I mean? But I think this is a huge win for Las Vegas. This is a huge win for the city. This is a huge win for this franchise. They're heading to Pittsburgh. This is the type of win that actually can propel you to go to Steel City with some confidence. Now, the Steelers, they dismantled the Bills, so they're feeling good too. Raider fans are everywhere rejoicing after Monday night, and they should feel good about themselves. I mean, my neighbor's got a Raider flag the size of his building flying from his house. I mean, like, his house will blow away before that flag will. I mean, people are fired up. Now, cross-country trip to Pittsburgh to face the Steel Curtain, that I don't know about. I saw too much sloppiness from the Vegas Raiders to take them in this game, okay? We know that Josh Jacobs is not 100%. He's limping around out there. He's a gutsy player, though. I tell you, boy, that guy's a tank. He'll give you everything he has. He plays hard for Gruden, and that's obvious, but he's hurt, okay? Kenyon Drake's just simply a pass catcher. I'm not so sure if that'll be enough to get it done against that Pittsburgh front four. Waller will not eat that big again. I'm sorry. And I love you, Darren Waller. You know this. You know what I mean? But, they're going to be ready for you. Anytime you see a player blow up like that, especially under the lights of Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, these DCs of the team they play next are ready for them. He's going to be blanketed. How the Ravens let him run all over the field. I mean, Darren Waller had 50,000 targets on Monday. He had his career's worth of targets in one game. I mean, that's insanity. It shouldn't happen like that. And I think Carr will have to do more this week, and I'm not really sure he can. Big Ben will get Najee going. I know Najee had a meh debut. I think that changes this week. I think the receivers show out. I'm taking the Steelers here. I'm taking them by at least, I'd say at least a touchdown win. I do want to mention the Raider defense, which, wow, to even say those two words in the same sentence is like an oxymoron. But I got to give Mad Max his flowers. The guy is an absolute monster. I'm sending him a letter on Monday. I'm going to try to get him on the show. What do you think about guys like Mad Max leading that defense, Spence?
This Raiders defense made plays that they hadn't made in my lifetime, or since I should say 2003 when I first remember watching them and seeing them lose in the Super Bowl. They just really haven't had playmakers.
Yeah.
They've always had guys, but they haven't had guys who've been there when they need him the most. All of their new additions, KJ Wright had the big fourth down stop. A 4th and 1, I've never seen them stop ever, so that was huge. Casey Hayward made a few good deflections. Jonathan Abrams was nowhere to be found on that huge touchdown run, but he still had pretty much the biggest play of the game on that 3rd down in overtime where he knocked the ball out of Mark Andrews' hands. Yeah. So, and then you go to Yannick Ngakoue, also had a big run stuff. I mean, all the guys who they got were actually very beneficial. And Perryman obviously had the fumble. So I'm proud of this team. It's actually a Raiders defense that I think you can watch. They were last in the league almost always, and now they're in that 15 to 20 range, and that might be enough to help them squeak away a couple more wins.
Get into the playoffs, maybe. Yeah, I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't give the Raider defense their flowers here. I mean, they played really, really well, and I want to go as far as saying when I had Rob Harrison on the show last week, everything that guy said came to pass. Everything. He broke everything down. He said, go back and watch that interview between he and I. It was like he had a crystal ball. So shout out to the Raiders. I know a lot of my other AFC West fans are hating on me because I'm showing them so much love. But my team is going to always be my team. It's not the Raiders. But when a local team like this is doing what they're doing, you got to show them some love. I still think they're going to finish 7 and 10. But still, that's a good way to start for them. Next, the Patriots at the Jets. Pats let me down last week. They were my best bet, but this is what I know about Bill Belichick. If for the rare 1 time or 2 times he ever lets you down, you go right back to the well because he is going to quench your thirst. I'm taking him again, and they're going to be my best bet. Bill Belichick is seething after costly fumbles that ruined a sure home debut win. And they're going to take it out on the hapless Jets. Okay, Mekhi Becton is out. That's huge. You know what that means? Zach Wilson is going to be running for his life like Forrest Gump. It's going to be a resounding Patriot victory. I just can't see the Jets keeping it competitive, honestly, because they just don't have enough. They might get Crowder back, and sure, Corey Davis looked really, really good, but if your rookie quarterback is being pressured, and no one does better against rookie quarterbacks than Bill Belichick, it's going to be a resounding Patriots win. Now, the Patriots need to open it up more than they did last week. Please. Expect a lot of usage from their tight ends. Get these guys more involved. Corey Davis, like I said, is going to be the one lone bright spot for the Jets. But the running game really needs to get going. Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, these guys both put the ball on the ground. You want to piss off Bill Belichick, put the ball on the ground. This guy will send you packing like no one's business. He'll send you packing faster than Bill Parcells will send you packing. So get it together. Hold on to the ball. 2 hands, fellas. Make me look good. I'm taking the Patriots, and they are going to be my best bet. All right. Early games are done. We're going to take a commercial break here. We'll come back with a little bit more from the National Football League's second set of games for Week 2 in the NFL. My name is Dexter Reed. You've been watching World of Matchups. Hang on. We'll be right back.
What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Welcome back to World of Matchups. Before we continue, let's pay some bills. Are you looking to buy or sell your home in Las Vegas or Henderson, Nevada? Alex Gannum with Vegas Strong Real Estate Group, a brokerage with a cause, can assist you with achieving all your real estate needs. With 15 plus years of experience, Alex Gannum is a recipient of several client service awards along with a top-notch selling and buying technique to get you the most for your home or the best value for your new purchase. Call Alex Gannum at Vegas Strong Real Estate Group today at 702-786-4553. Again, that's 702-786-4553. Vegas Strong Real Estate Group. We are one city, one brokerage, one dream. All right, folks. Welcome back to World of Matchups. Second slate of games. Let's go. Vikings at the Cardinals. Boy, the Vikings blew it not taking down the toothless Bengals. Well, are they really the toothless Bengals? Maybe I thought they were, but they're really not. But I thought that was a game that they should have won. They're going to pay for that and be an 0-2 team. The Vikings are going to be that team. The Vikings are going to be that team where you just feel that they're going to win this game, they're going to win this game, they're going to win this game, and they're going to lose that game. They're going to lose that game. They're going to lose that game. Why? Because they can't stop anybody. And if you have just offense and no defense, you're going to be in trouble. Chandler Jones had 5 sacks last week. Look at this footage. Dude, Ryan Tannehill, dude, that would lacerate a kidney if that hit me that hard. I mean, he was all over Ryan Tannehill. Taylor Lewan got beat like a drum. That was really, really bad. J.J. Watt, all of a sudden they got something cooking there. You wouldn't think it, because when you think Arizona Cardinals, you're not thinking like, wow, heavy defensive presence. But they look really, really good. Now it's their home opener. Expect a lot of points. Murray to Hopkins, it's lethal. It's coming. You can't even stop it. DeAndre Hopkins might be one of the best receivers in the last 10 years. All right? Even with the emergence of Christian Kirk now, too, Arizona is cooking despite having a so-so running attack. I'm not a big Chase Edmonds fan. I'm not a big James Conner fan, but you know what? These guys quietly did a really nice job last week. We have to give them their props. If they can do it again, I see an easy Arizona Cardinals win. Cook will get bottled up. Cousins will make a couple mistakes. Game-ending pick, something like that, and it's going to lead to the loss. I'm taking Arizona easily. Next, the Dirty Birds at the Buccaneers. Falcons at the Buccaneers. Boy, the Falcons are a bad team. Gosh, they're bad. They're so bad. Matty Ice, those days are over. Okay? That's another team that I won't be taking for a while after they stunk up the joint. The champs will simply be way too much for them after they clean up last week's mistakes. They just will be. And without those skilled players around them, they're going to get neutralized. Brady goes off. Tampa's going to run wild. I'm taking Tampa. I can't see a world where the Atlanta Falcons win this game. I just can't. Tampa played really, in my mind, at times poorly last week. The extra day off is going to help. They're going to clean things up. You know, Brady is standing for nothing but perfection. This is a tough spot to be in if you're a Falcon fan. I think 0-2 is about to be your reality, and I think you're looking at a 6-win Atlanta Falcons team this year. They got drubbed by the Eagles, who I think are equally a 6-win team in your own building on your home opener. That doesn't bode well for your chances this week. Next, Cowboys at the LA Chargers. This is going to be a good game. This is one that I thought could potentially be game of the week, but I deferred to a different game we'll talk about a little later here. Both teams to me look solid week one, okay? But only one of those teams got screwed, and that was Dallas. I thought Dallas could have won last week, but Tom Brady gets the calls, yada, 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 and off we go. Dallas is going to have a chip on their shoulder this week, okay? I like the Dallas offense here. I really, really do. I think they will do enough with their skilled players here to eke out a win. I do. I know everyone is like, Justin Herbert's a stud. You know what I mean? He's future MVP. You know, Austin Eckler. I'm not a huge Austin Eckler fan, but he's good. Keenan Allen, really, really good. They're a good team. This is their home opener. They got a nice, shiny toy of a stadium. But there comes wins every year that you take where there's really no rhyme or reason to why you're taking them. You just take them, and I think this is one of them. I think that if the Dallas D can play as good as it did last week, they'll win this game. Because if they don't, they could be staring down 0-3, 0-4. Honestly, if Dallas doesn't win this week, this could be their season. They could just be the type of team that doesn't win but scores a lot. Dallas has to get Zeke going. You have to. The Chargers D is not any world beaters. Feed Zeke. That's why he's there. I'm expecting the wide receivers on both teams to eat. I'm going to roll the dice on the upset. I'm taking the Cowboys. I know a lot of fireworks are going to be happening in this game. A lot of fantasy ramifications are going to be happening in this game. I'm a believer in Dak Prescott. I think he is equally as good as Justin Herbert. Okay, there it is. I said it. I said it. And I think that everyone is going to be on the Charger wagon this week. I'm going the other way. Next. There's no other more disappointing team for me last week than the Tennessee Titans. There is going to be no touchdown Titans for me this week. They need to, guys, fall back and get yourselves together. They missed their OC, okay? What they did last week was an absolute embarrassment, and they need to get it together, okay? No play action, no push up front. You know what kind of quarterback Ryan Tannehill is. You need to work towards his strengths, and you absolutely didn't do it versus what I thought was maybe a better than average Arizona team. They're not any world beaters, and they destroyed you in your building. Now you have to travel to the 12th man, who I have been really hard on. So I'm going to now tip my cap and give you your flowers because I think Seattle played great last week. All the things that I was asking them to do, they did. Russ is cooking. The ball's in the air. Lockett's a stud. Metcalf is the black Chuck Norris. Of course, their running backs are hurt already, but that's what they do. But it's their home opener. Their defense will do enough, and they're going to win this game. The Titans are going to be 0-2, which is not the start that they wanted. So I love Seattle here. Julio, Henry, they're going to be outdone. Expect Metcalf to have a huge game after being very mediocre last week. Okay, it was the Lockett show last week. It was the Russ show, but Russ is going to cook. And that Tennessee defense looks like they're a bunch of beaten men. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it carries over to this week or doesn't carry over to this week. Mike Vrabel, you got to get this team ready because otherwise they're gonna eat. I like Seattle here, and I'm taking Seattle. Spencer, what's your take on the Seattle Seahawks? They're kind of a really weird team. I don't know about them.
They played a lot better than I thought they would last week, so I'm impressed. Russell Wilson was horrible in the last half of the season. So is it like, oh, is this guy starting to wane off? Is this the end of his career type of thing? Because it can be pretty steep. Any quarterback's career, it can end pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But no, it was not like that at all. He was a beast in that game. Those deep balls to Tyler Lockett were nothing short of really impressive. I mean, he looked like he had the best deep ball in the NFL last week.
I would agree.
It comes down to Seattle's young defensive line. They played great last week, but you got to be able to do that for 17 games now. So if they can do that, they'll be successful. I'm not so convinced on their defense just yet. A hot start, a hot week is good, but the Titans looked like they weren't ready for week one. Like they didn't show up. So I'm not going to say that this is a total indicator for them defensively, but offensively, I'm pretty sure you're going to see that all year.
Yeah, the Titans looked like a JV team last week. I mean, they looked bad. I think next to the Packers, who we're going to talk about here next, no team looked worse than the Titans, and I took them both like a dummy. Next, Monday Night Football, the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. There's not much really to say here. It was an absolute disgrace by the Green Bay Packers week one. I'm not sure if Rodgers wasn't trying to throw that game. I don't know if there's something going on with this guy. And, I mean, people thought Brett Favre left Green Bay poorly. Aaron Rodgers is like, dude, hold my 40. I mean, it's just terrible what's happened. Now, I can't see that happening again. Home opener. Lambeau's proud. I've been to Lambeau. I've been to Lambeau twice. What an amazing place to watch football. If you're a football fan and you haven't been to Lambeau Field, you're not a football fan. You're not a football fan. You have to go there. Unbelievable. Not much to do there but drink beer and watch football, but unbelievable. And it's unbelievable to the tune of they're easily going to win Monday night. Easily. Now, bad team, under the lights, coming in, equals a bounce-back win for Green Bay. I expect all Green Bay's offensive players to go off, especially Aaron Jones, and especially Devontae Adams. They will have the Lions playing catch-up all game long. And that's pretty much all the Lions are going to be able to do this year is play catch-up all game long. Their skill players are good, but they're never going to have any leads. I mean, they almost came back and shocked the Niners. Niners let them back in that game. So their offense is good, but their defense is atrocious. They just lost Jeff Okudah for the year again. What a waste of a first-round pick. I had high hopes for Jeff Okudah. His college tape was nice. And he's done. Aaron Rodgers is going to carve this team up like Thanksgiving turkey. Okay? Expect a similar game last week when the Lions almost come back, but the game will be over at that point. Okay? Green Bay does have a poor defense, so that's the only reason it may be somewhat competitive, but late after the game is already decided. You take the Packers here, it's definitely happening. Okay, I will be absolutely shocked if the Lions go in there and win Monday night. I don't even know what I will do. I'll dye my hair blonde, what little hair I have or something. You know what I mean? There's just no way. I mean, I just can't see it happening. All right. Second slate of games is done. The best part of the show is coming. Special guest coming from Long Island, New York. You know him as the guy that we featured on the AFC Breakdown. Mr. Dan O'Brien is next. Take a second for a little commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Get your popcorn, get your soda, because as always, it's going to be nothing but real talk for real understanding and pure comedy when we come back on World of Matchups with the game of the week. Dexter Reed. Stay tuned.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer with Delivering Sports. I'm happy to announce a brand new show I'm releasing called 10 Minute Blitz, where I recap every single NFL game from the last week in 10 minutes or less. I'll show you all the biggest highlights and storylines you might have missed. The show will come out every Wednesday from here on out, and I'll see you guys on Grab It.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Before we venture into our Game of the Week and special guests, we must welcome in our Game of the Week sponsor for the entire season, Stacey Harrison of Felony Fitness. Folks, Felony Fitness isn't for the faint of heart. Felony Fitness promotes solely the 4 F's. No fear, no forgiveness, no failure, no false hopes. Those who say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, be patient, because we are coming back around to finish the job. Felony Fitness now, Felony Fitness forever. All right, kids, this is the time of the show that I love the best, the Game of the Week. And this week's special guest is going to be the one, the only, Mr. Danny O'Brien coming to you live and direct from Strong Island, New York. Going to bring the heat on this week's game of the week, which is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens. Mr. O'Brien, welcome in.
Thanks, Dex, for having me. I understand your original guest is off shooting his scenes in Alaska for Deadliest Catch. So it's an honor that you called me in.
I appreciate you being on in a pinch, man. I've had 4 people cancel this week, but you know the show must go on. World of Matches must feature the special guest because my knowledge is just not enough. We need to top things off with the knowledge of the people. So we're going to jump right into this game, bro. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson. The last time we had you on, we talked about Lamar Jackson. Talk to me about what you saw Monday night that is keeping him out of the elite quarterback conversation.
Well, we talked about it, in our last episode. When is Lamar going to make the big play? He never makes the big throw or the big play. He's running in fourth quarter and overtime. He's running up the middle. That's a disaster situation.
I mean, if we're being honest, the reason the Raiders won is Lamar Jackson. He coughed the ball up.
No question.
I mean, I was just telling Spencer, it looks like when he takes off and the pocket breaks down, he's running and he's like carrying the ball like a loaf of bread. That's just asking for it to come out. And I've been catching a lot of. Lamar Jackson's my fantasy quarterback. Let's just put that out there. And I like Lamar Jackson, okay? But I've been giving him a lot of heat, and a lot of people have been not feeling my abrasive nature towards Lamar. And I just want to explain this before we jump into the breakdown a little bit more. If you are going to be an elite quarterback, in my mind, you have to be able to do the number one thing that a quarterback is asked to do well, and that's throw the ball. And he's missing wide open targets. I mean, wide open targets. To me, Lamar Jackson is an elite athlete. He is an elite athlete, but he is not an elite quarterback. Do I like Lamar? I do. I want to see him excel. There's no athlete right now I want to see excel more because I want him to get paid and I want him to be worth the money. But I just can't see a situation now after this body of work that we had 2, 3, 4 years now where he's actually taking the game over with his arm and winning the game. That's a game they should have won on Monday night. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, without a question. I mean, the game started, it was 14-0, and people booing the Raiders
their own building.
In their first home game. And their first home game in the building was lit. The whole crowd was lit, and they're booing after it was down 14-0. I mean, and then, the Ravens didn't step on their necks, as we always talk about. You get a team down, you have to step on their neck. If you leave them hanging around, they're going to come back. And they let the Raiders get that down to 14-10 at half. And I said, this is going to be a problem in the second half. Because now the Raiders have confidence. They think they can get into this game, and that's exactly what happened.
You give them confidence, then they're going to – Raiders, I keep telling people, man. I mean, I'm not a Raider fan. Let me put it out there. But, they're better than people think. Carr's better than people think.
They are.
You know what I mean? And you give them that opportunity, they're going to walk through that window, and that's exactly what they did. So it's not all Lamar. I mean, the Ravens defense really didn't show up, and I know they're hurt. You know what I mean? I know they're missing some of their biggest pieces, but my goodness, they got absolutely murked. They got pushed around. And you know what, honestly, I think if their whole staff was healthy, if they weren't suffering all these injuries, I still think the Raiders would have found a way to win that game. It's just that kind of a game, that opening day with your fans, Raiders are winning that game. And so we hit on that, which is one of the few that we hit on. Let's talk about that Ravens offensive line and how they're going to fare versus Kansas City on Sunday night.
Stanley out's a problem. I mean,
big problem.
Huge problem. I mean, you can't have your best lineman now out. Now you're switching Villanueva from the right side back to the left side, which he has played before, but this whole training camp and offseason, he's been on the right side. Now you're going to put him on the left side. And the Kansas City, their front four, they can get pressure. And when Lamar gets pressured, that's when it's a problem.
Yeah.
If he can get outside contained, he's good. If he's got to run up the middle, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
That line is an issue for the Ravens.
Yeah,
also,
I agree. I agree.
Marquise Brown is an issue.
They have a lot of problems right now. This is not the healthy Ravens team that you saw take on Kansas City last year. It seems like the Chiefs play the Ravens every single year. It's so weird. But the Chiefs go in there and they win these games. They mop them up. I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson is now 3-0. I think Patrick is amazing quarterback. You know this, but he's going in there with a lot of confidence, and they're in trouble. I mean, Chris Jones should eat. Frank Clark will be back. That offensive line, look, Spencer, what do you think about this? Was there a worse decision made in the offseason than the Ravens letting Orlando Brown go to the Chiefs? I can't think of one.
The Raiders letting Nelson Aguilar go to the Patriots, probably.
I don't know.
I looked that up because I remember you talking about it, and you're a huge Chiefs fan. It seems that Brown got mad that Stanley got paid, and he's like, that's it, I'm out of here, and I want to play left tackle.
Yeah, and the Chiefs needed a left tackle after Eric Fisher went down and didn't get brought back. So, I mean, just the fact that, look, I have no problem trading a guy that doesn't want to be on my team, but I'm not giving him to my friend.
Oh, no.
Or my enemy, I should say. I'm not giving him to a rival, and so.
Trade's like the Giants or something.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean? You
like
trade
that.
him out of division. So here comes the big band Kansas City Chiefs who won a game that I probably think they wouldn't have won without Patrick Mahomes. And they're full of piss and vinegar and ready to rock. Today is Patrick Mahomes' birthday. They get the Honey Badger back. Frank Clark is scheduled to play. The Ravens are a wounded animal. Lamar's confidence is shook. Like, it's shook one part, too. I mean, Mobb Deep explained the meaning of shook for a moment, just as this. You know what I mean? I can't see the Chiefs not winning this game. Patrick Mahomes tortures the Baltimore secondary. Tortures. And while he toys with them. And while I don't think the Chiefs' offensive line looked as good as some other people think, there were some times where I was watching the game and I was like, am I watching the Super Bowl? Because he was still running around. Now, mind you, it takes time to gel. They're new, they're young, they're rookies. But the Ravens' defensive line is not the Browns' defensive line. Under the lights, no one shines like Mahomes. He makes these throws off the back foot that no one else makes. I mean, a lot of times it's like, well, Tyreek's down there somewhere. I'll just throw it up. But the truth of the matter is that that's just confidence in your skill players. No one else makes that throw. And no one even attempts that throw. I mean, Josh Allen is too big and clumsy to be throwing off the back foot like that. He can throw as far, but there's no other player in the NFL that can make that throw. I said it a couple weeks ago. Patrick Mahomes is good for 3 wins by himself. You saw win number 1 Sunday because they should have lost that game.
Correct. The Chiefs were done in that game.
The Chiefs played terrible in that game. Terrible. And I'm here to tell you, if Kansas City Chiefs have to see Cleveland in the playoffs, boy, they better have it together. They better have it together.
Have to.
They better have it together.
Will get better during the year.
I'm telling you, nobody wants to play the Browns in the playoffs. You hear what I'm saying? Folks, write this down. Take a screenshot of this. We're going to run this back in the playoffs. Nobody wants to see that team in the playoffs because they just run it down your throat. And they just out-physical you. And when you're wearing Gators and Jordans, they're wearing Tims. And they should have won that game last week. But it's Mahomes. We have Mahomes.
Mahomes brought them back. And the home field also helped as well. The fans back in the stadium helped a lot of teams.
It really did. It really did. And boy, the Chiefs, they pulled. I got to read something to you. I saw it online, and you're going to love this. It is to me, this explains Kansas City perfectly, okay? This guy on Twitter wrote, the Chiefs don't punch you in the mouth. They let you run around their house. They let you drink their booze. You can take over their Bluetooth and their Wi-Fi. You can take their spot on the couch. And then they wait for you to pass out. And then they steal your girlfriend. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs are. They are the most finesse, non-physical team I've ever seen. And if they get down, you're almost better to just let them lead and try to steal the game at the end.
Right. It's like they want to get down because they want to come back just to crush your soul. That's pretty much how they
all it takes
operate.
is one play. That 75-yard bomb is all they need. Let me tell you something. It was a different Kansas City Chiefs team after Tyreek caught that ball and scored. And they scored in 30 seconds.
And you saw the two Cleveland DBs look at each other like,
well, I thought you were going to get him. I thought you were going to get him. Well, we'll get him next time. Guys, there's no next time. The game is over. The game is over.
Game's
I will
over.
even go as far as saying this as a proud Kansas City Chief fan, but I'm a realist. If you want to make money this year, and I'm not big on the gambling, just bet against the Chiefs because they're not covering spreads. They just do enough to win. We care about winning in Kansas City. But if you go back to even last year, Carolinas, these teams are all covering versus the Chiefs. They just do like enough to win. And it's kind of it's nerve-wracking as a fan because you just want to see them blow teams out. But that's not the NFL that we're living in. You know what I mean? So my prediction for this game is the Chiefs' defense is a bend and not break defense. I think they're going to win probably 31-21. They're going to give up points, but that's the recipe for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. If they can hold teams under 21 points, they win more times than they lose. But I can't see them losing this game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I can't see the Chiefs lose this game, even though it's in Baltimore. I mean, Lamar is 0-3 against Mahomes. I can't see that changing this week. I mean, if Marquez Brown is out,
who's he throwing to?
We didn't even see Mark Andrews. Was Mark Andrews on the field Monday? Because I didn't see him.
Mark Andrews cost me a fantasy win this week. He killed me. Let me tell you. KJ, boy, Raider defense did a good job on Monday. Dude, you got to give them their props, man. I mean, I know Carr came up big at the end, but the Raider defense, they did a really good job on Mark Andrews. He was a ghost. I expect him to have a better game this week. Nick Bolton, the rookie, Willie Gay is out for Kansas City, so you'll see a lot of Nick Bolton out there. You know what I mean? And with Hitchens, and Hitchens is a little slow, so Nick Bolton will be trying to catch, these guys coming out of the backfield and defending the tight ends. We don't want Sorensen on him because Sorensen is burnt toast. But, if they can contain Andrews, how are they going to score? How are they going to score? Let's talk about this kid, Tyson Williams. Let me tell you, that loss, it's not just on Lamar. There's plenty of blame to go around, and Coach has to take some blame here. This guy is breaking fools off to start this game. Scores a 35-yard touchdown. He's catching passes. He looks spry. Everyone's like, who's this Tyson? Who's this Tyson kid? Who is this kid? Looking like Tomlinson out there. And then you give the kid like 2 carries in the second half. Now, I know that he missed a block. I get it. And sometimes you have to discipline your player and be like, oh, you missed that block. Now it was sack. You're going to sit. But are you trying to win? Latavius Murray? Why are you rotating in 15 backs?
Yeah. What team does that work for? That never works.
If you've got 3 or 4 starting running backs, you've got none. Let this guy spin.
Exactly.
He showed you clearly in the first half when you were up 14-0 that you were taking it to the house with this kid. And then you know what I mean? And so Harbaugh's, on the hook too. There was a lot of blame to go around in this game. I mean, I'm not a hater, you know what I mean? I thought the Raiders were going to win that game, so I was actually happy that they won. But if you try to do that this week versus Andy Reid, you're going to get beat to death.
It's going to get ugly early. It's going to get ugly early.
I mean, Kansas City hasn't even really used their ancillary players. McCall Hardman was a ghost last week. You know what I mean? Like Jarrett McKinnon, who's a decent third down back, they hardly did anything. I mean, it was all Tyreek. It was all Kelsey. It was all Mahomes. If they ever get any of those other guys involved, you get Pringle involved, all of a sudden now, like, wow, we're really cooking with gas here. I think Baltimore is staring down the barrel of an 0-2 gun. I think they're in trouble. I think Lamar will get paid, but I can't see them doing anything. The offensive line, the injuries, the defense, they're a sinking ship. They really are.
Yeah, where's the Ravens' defense? Like, we keep hearing they have a great defense. Where is it? Like,
where is it?
David Carr was throwing wherever he wanted in the second half.
Looked like Johnny Unitas the last 3 minutes of that game. There's no defense.
How do you get the ball with, 35 seconds, and you march down the field and kick a field goal to go to overtime? Like, that's pride on your defense.
Forget prevent defense. I don't even know what that was. How do you allow that to happen? I mean, it's almost like the Raiders were like, okay, we don't want it. Here, you take it. And then the Ravens were like, no, well, we don't want it. Here, you take it. No, really, no, you take it. Dude, win the game. Win the game.
Win the game.
Win the game.
Yeah.
And so This is what I know. When you are at home and you steal a win that you probably shouldn't have stole versus a really strong team that could make some noise, a physical, beat you up, grinded out, hard-fought win, and then you go and you play a team that has lost a game that they probably should have won in their building, who is a finesse team just like you, they're going to get carved up. I'll be shocked if the Ravens win this game. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan. Let's just look at what they have. You know what I mean? Let's just look at what they have. And so I really like Kansas City here. I like them big. I think that the Ravens are the Titanic right now. I really do. I think the Ravens are the Titanic, and there's really not a lot of hope on the horizon. I mean, is Sammy Watkins a revenge game even a thing? I mean, no, right? I don't know. Like I'm trying to play devil's advocate and look at ways that Baltimore could potentially steal this game, and I'm not coming up with any.
And then are they going to activate another one of these running backs to take even more carries away from Williams? Because that'll be a mistake.
I don't know. I mean, if they can control the clock and run the ball, they have a shot. I mean, you always have a shot. No one's ever not having a shot in the NFL. The Chiefs don't stop the run particularly well. There was one run last week where, Chubb ran from the line of scrimmage into the end zone 25 yards, untouched by anyone, which is an absolute disgrace. So we know that their Achilles heel is stopping the run. But again, they didn't have Frank Clark last week. They didn't have Tyrann Mathieu last week. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are coming back. So we'll see how that fares. That's going to be their recipe. They're going to try to run the ball 30 times because they know that if they put the ball in Lamar's hands, it's over.
It's not going to work. Lamar's not going to make those throws to win the game, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, I still expect Lamar to get his this week. He had a bad first game. I think he's going to do well versus Kansas City, but it's just not going to be a win. Kansas City is they're just dynamite, man. It's 4th of July every game with Kansas City. You know what I mean? If they had, think about this, if like Kansas City had like the Bucks defense or the Steeler defense or like the Brown defense, they could go undefeated. Yeah. They could. They could go undefeated, but their defense has got no first-round players. It's their Achilles heel. They're bend but don't break. They can't tackle, and they can't stop the run. And so I think that their offense hides a lot of that. Mm-hmm. You saw it happen in the Super Bowl. If they can't score, they're done. But I think that Baltimore's got more problems than they do. What's your final prediction score on the game?
I think the Chiefs are going to run away with it. I think they're going to put 35 to like 20, 21. Yeah. I think it's going to be that big. Mahomes loves the bright lights. He loves taking it to Lamar Jackson.
I just see bombs in the air on Sunday night.
Just see him just throwing up to Tyreek running past people, and then they hit Kelsey underneath. I mean, Waller had, 1 billion targets on Monday?
The white Darren Waller.
I mean, if he does that.
They're both just insane players. They really are.
Yeah, they really are.
Let's stray away from the game real quick and talk about what you think so far has been your biggest surprise that you've seen in the NFL through the first week.
Through the first week, biggest surprise. What happened to the Bills? What happened there?
They got murked
at home, and they just didn't show up.
That's a game you have to win.
You have to win that game, and you look at the Pittsburgh stat line. You're like, how did they even win?
How did they win this game?
What did they do? I'm still stunned on how the Bills lost that game. And now you're going down to Miami. That's a tough spot.
I think Miami's winning that game.
Miami's going to win that game, I think, too. Miami, for me, that was a huge win going into New England and winning in New England.
Miami slept on.
I've been
saying it for a long time. Miami's very slept on.
I mean,
the defense is good.
I would feel better if Fuller was playing this week. I just heard he's not playing this week, so I would feel better. But I still think Miami's going to win that game.
Yeah.
And the Bills
I tend to agree with you.
They're in trouble, but they're in the AFC East, so they're not totally in trouble.
Yeah, not yet.
Right. Not yet.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens next week. My biggest surprise so far has been Justin Herbert. The Washington football team was supposed to shut a quarterback like that down in his second year, and he looked like Dan Marino. I think that when we're talking about MVP as far as quarterbacks go, we're always like, well, Herbert's not ready yet. Folks, Herbert's ready.
He's ready.
Herbert's ready. Herbert's here, and he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not.
I mean, you want to talk about a team that nailed it and got the franchise quarterback right. It's Justin Herbert. And so it's going to be interesting to see. I'm watching his career with enthusiasm, especially when he plays my team, to see how he reacts. But he's been really, really good so far. All right, man. We're going to wrap it up. As always, we appreciate you coming on the show the way you have, sewing into the show the way you have. Being a goal booster is not for the faint of heart, and you roll with it and you rock it, and you're always there. We tap you in, and you're there, and you always bring the heat. Enjoy the games this weekend. We're obviously going to have you back on because that's just what we do here at World of Matchups. We look out for those who look out for us, and we appreciate you, man. And ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for Mr. Danny O'Brien from Strong Island, New York. We'll see you, bro. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Dex. You too, brother.
All right, everybody. That's the show. Week 2 is wrapped. But before we go, it's important that we let you know that we're everywhere on social media. So please find us at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and like and subscribe on our YouTube page. And don't forget to go check us out at grabittelevision.com. This is the local station that we're transmitting out of right now. We're an up-and-coming platform. You can go there, check us out, and check out some of the other content that we have and show us some love. We're growing everywhere, and we're trying to get that word out. We once again appreciate you guys coming on and giving us, what we need to keep going here at World of Matchups and bringing you that real talk for real understanding content. And we look forward to bringing it to you next week. Until such time, you guys be well. But before we do that, we're going to go over my picks for the week. We're going to start off. I'm taking the Broncos. I'm taking the Dolphins, the Browns, the Bears, the Niners, the Saints, the Rams, the Steelers, the Pats again are my best bet. I know I must be crazy. The Cards, the Bucks, the Boys, the Seahawks, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Packers, and that is going to be a wrap. Until next time, folks, remember that you are watching the most comprehensive and progressive new National Football League show to hit the airwaves this year. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Grab It Television, to my right, Spencer the Wiz, you have been watching World of Matchups.